Beep beep, what's up ninjas, my name is Samworld and today we're going to be discussing the most underrated tool in dance music, which is something that the hip hop guys have picked up. Because if you hear a hip hop song, you're mainly going to hear stuff like boom, 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 boom. I choked there. And if you haven't figured it out, it's drum loops. Now, the funny thing in dance music is that if we use a MIDI, we get crucified on the stand, we get hanged by our peers, we get called different names, and we get just belittled as a producer. But if we use a drum loop, no one bats an eye, no one even cares. All right, guys, so the first thing is I'm gonna do my claps, and usually the claps are always gonna go on the 2 and the 4, especially in G house. But if you're making like big room, a lot of the times it's fine to have like these type of stadium claps to be on the 4, you know, just on every kick, every hit. So what we're gonna do is just a clap on every 2 and 4. We're gonna go with these ones here. All right, that works there. We're gonna pan that to the right a tiny bit, and I do this from just learning and watching other mixing engineers do this. Now what this is supposed to do is, since the claps and everything, all the drums are going to be in mono, especially the one shots, what you want to do is you want to pan them to open them up, not to have them all come from the center of the mix. Especially when you hear a drummer play live, you know, you don't hear all the sounds coming from the center of the mix. You hear it coming from maybe the cymbals over here, you have the snare over here, the tom over here, so it's coming from all directions, from left to right. So that's what we want to kind of imitate, but it's also going to open up our mix so it doesn't sound so dull-minded, especially if our drop is going to contain a big bass that's in mono. Then our drums, really, you want to open them up and widen them a bit. So first thing is the clap, and that's the one I'm going to pick. High. Hella high. Okay, very cool. It's a pan there. Now we're gonna go with the hats. Now the very standard layout, the easiest one to start off with if you're making your first drum loops, is the one that almost everybody uses a lot in deep house. You can hear it a lot in G house as well in certain tracks. However, do try and get out of that when you get a chance, but that's the one I'm gonna show you right now. We're gonna pick a hat. I think this one should work here. And this one is very simple to do. All we're going to do is just literally duplicate it across, and it's going to get side chained. And it's going to be... So let's make this be a lot smaller. So we're just going to grab this, and then we can do that. So we're going to edit that. I just don't want to use it like that. That's for another type of pattern. And this is how we should have... There we go. So you're going to have this one, and it's going to be getting side chained to the kick. It's going to give a lot of rhythm that's needed. Now the other one is the open hat. There we go, this one. And what we're going to do with this one is put it on the offbeats here. So these are going to go like, it's kind of like an offbeat bass almost. And we're just going to duplicate that across. This is going to be a very standard beat, again, that everyone should know how to do. And, oh, God, I just saved this. Okay, so here we go. And this is how it's going to sound like so far. Now, this little thing, I'm going to pan it to the left. I'm going to leave the open hat in the center of the mix for now. So what I want to hear is on the left, and I want to hear the clap coming from the right, and then the open hat from the center. Now, what I'm going to do is add a bit of delay to these, which I have already done here, as you can see. Now, what the delay is going to do is it's going to make it so it lags a bit, and that's going to cause the, you know, the clap to not hit right when the kick hits, which should give it a little bit of time to move. So let's do a 4 or 6 on this. Now, on the hat, we can go -3 here, just to, again, give it a bit of swing, and also the open hat, just a tiny bit to give it that swing. So with that here, we're going to have this type of move. Hella high. High. Hella high. High. Hella high. Now what we can do to the clap is add a simple delay to widen it, and this is something that you're going to hear a lot in deadmau5's work, is that he does the Haas effect on the clap to get it to sound wider. So all we're going to do is offset this by a few like milliseconds, fully wet here. Wet's going to decide how wide it is, and then you're going to hear. Here we go. Off, center, now, wide. So this is good too, especially if all your basses are in the center of the mix. This really does help to open up the mix and again make room for everything. There we go. So now what we can do to the hat is as well, you can add the Haas effect to that if you want, and also to the open hat, which is totally up to you. Okay, so this is a very standard drum beat. Now we can keep adding to this, but I kind of want to make a different one, and this is going to be one where you have to get really creative and think, okay, how am I going to make this drum beat for this drop? So if we hear it, that's the kind of the idea I want to go for. So all right, so we're gonna go to the 909 drum samples to do this because I kind of like these a lot. Honestly, I think I'm gonna just use them for not even for G-House but for everything. You know, we sample it all in 909 drum machine, which a lot of people use, they just don't know they use it. That's the funny thing. All right, so okay, so I'm already kind of trying to get this to, let's see, we're gonna get rid of all right, it's fine. And now, so we need an open hat there. There we go. So we're gonna get that one. All right, let's see what we can do. So again, we're just going with our mouth. Here we go. We can do that. Let's see. We're gonna add this here. There we go. So I think everyone should be able to do this. If you've ever been at school and you've been like drumming on like what's your favorite song, like, and you had good rhythm, you can do your own drum moves. You just have to have the patience and not be afraid to do it with your mouth, like. So here we go. All right, so I want to add another offbeat here, but this one's gonna be truly offbeat. And then we're gonna repeat that. Hella high. High. Hella high. All right, now let's go. High. Hella high. High. Hella high. And maybe we can reverse this here so that we get a. There we go. Now that sounds fucking sexy. Okay, so you know, drum loops are making your own drum loops. They're gonna really help in making yourself be a little bit more creative about it, but also the freedom to mix this any way you want. Let's say that now I want to apply my own mastering chain to this. How am I going to do that? Well, I can do my own chain out to the bus, which I recommend you always add a glue compressor to your bus, you know, your drum bus, and do the drum parallel one to get like best of both worlds, you know, full dynamics, but at the same time you have all the elements coming out in your drums, which is going to sound like it does like a little elevation. We can also add a little bit of room reverb to this because now again we're in control because we made it ourselves. And then we can EQ it. So again, remember, signal flow is very important as well. If the EQ is in front of the reverb, I'm gonna EQ the fucking reverb. So let's add a boost. And then the last thing I think I want to add is a saturator before the reverb with the hard curve. Let's be a little bit careful with the dry and wet. Okay, so that's gonna be the tutorial, guys. Hopefully you guys had fun in creating these with me. We created a standard one and we created a creative one. My biggest advice, again, remember, is to hear the song and be like, all right, how would the drum beat on this sound cool? And play around. You're like following the song, you're like, follow where those hits need to be and just have the patience to do it. All right, ninjas, you take care. Have an amazing day. And if you want to support Confessions Revolution Volume 2, you know where to find it, my mans. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care and have an amazing day, guys. Peace out.